Okay, here we have Miss Pweyu, a Kenyan citizen and former employee of Kampala Coaches. Following the closure of Kampala Coaches, she remained stranded in Uganda until when she opened up a general merchandise shop in Balikudembe Market and a restaurant in Chisenyi. During the year ended 30th of June 2024, she registered gross turnover of 54,120 from the shop and 22,340 from the restaurant. Ms. Kweyu maintains proper business records. Compute Ms. Kweyu's tax payable for the year ending 30th of June 2024 if the business operated for the whole year. Now, as I've mentioned, we first of all assess the total gross turnover. Here, Ms. Kweyu is running two businesses, general merchandise and the restaurant. So let us first of all make a quick summation of the gross turnover from the two businesses. So if I add 54,120 and 22,340, how much is that? Share with me in the chat. Share with me in the chat the total. So the total comes to in the chart I can see 76,460,000. Okay, so that is our total. So what we are going to do, let us write down these figures. General merchandise 54,120, restaurant 22,340. So let's first of all put those ones somewhere. If you have a paper, just something rough. Okay, so general merchandise 54,120, restaurant 22,340, which comes to a total of 76,460. Okay, now let us go to the rates. Now here on the screen are the small business taxpayer rates. Now depend on whether the client has records or they don't have records. All right. So do we assess the 76 total or business by business? That's the first question. Do we assess the 76 or business by business? So we have to do it business by business. Of course, the total was to help us confirm that Ms. Kweyu is a small taxpayer, which we have done. Ms. Kweyu is outrightly a small taxpayer because 76,460,000 is above 10 million, but less than 150 million. So the total has helped us to confirm. Now, how much is Ms. Kweyu supposed to pay? We are going to begin with the general merchandise shop. Here, Ms. Kweyu has derived 54,120,000. So let's begin with that one. Share with me in the chat. I'm giving you another 5 minutes. Do a quick calculation and tell me how much Ms. Kweyu will pay on the general merchandise shop. So we are having different figures here, but of course, thanks for trying. Now, what you need to know is that these guys don't pay a lot of money. These guys actually, even if you tell this person to pay $1 million, she cannot. Naturally, they don't get a lot of money. So the correct answer is 204,720. That's the correct for the restaurant. For the restaurant, we shall have to consider, because it is 54 million, we shall have to consider exceeding 50 million, but not exceeding 80. We shall have to consider this. The rate is 6%. So from the restaurant, we are going to get, they are saying, remember we are looking at with records, eh? So we are talking about 180 plus 0.6% of what exceeds 50 million. So that is our 54, 120 minus 50 million. Minus 50 million. So that one, the excess, we charge 0.6. So I think the biggest problem is people not changing the 0.6 to dividing it by 100, eh? Because it is in percentage. So you have to divide 0.6 by 100. I think that's why you're getting big figures. So it should be giving you 204, 720. So you need to take note of that. 204, 720. 204, 720. So that's what we are going to use. That is the tax liability on general merchandise. Okay, so we are done with general merchandise. Now let us work out the restaurant. Let's work out the restaurant in the next 5 minutes. Let's work out the restaurant. You have to look for the place. I mean, you have to look for the limits, the gross turnover limits. Let's use 5 minutes. We do that as well. All right. Looks like now you've got it. It's 49,360. 49,360. The rate of tax is 0.4%. 0.4%. The restaurant has derived 22,340,000, which is more than 10 million, but less than 30 million. So the rate of tax is 0.4. So what we do, we get 0.4 of the annual turnover in excess of 10 million. So it's as simple as that. In excess of 10 million. So that's going to be 22, 340 minus the 10 million. Okay, so that is how much supposed to be paid, 49,360. So we are going to confirm on our return. So we are going to go to our URA portal and file this return. File this return. The steps, I'm going to put them down for you so that you can follow if a client comes to you and they need this service. Now, before we move into the return, or as you're preparing the return, get the following information from your client. There's what we call the client business details. Get the client business details. So what are the client business details that you need to get? They include the following. 1, the business name of the client, the business registration number, the client, the trading license number, the client, the area of operation, the business activity, the monthly sales records, the district county, sorry, I meant county, and sub-county, the trading center, the building name, the floor, the shop number, monthly rent, name and TIN of the landlord. So as you're preparing your client, as you're preparing to file the return for your client, these details must be with you. Otherwise, you will not be able to file the return to completion. So if these details are available, then you go ahead to log into the URA portal. Let me get my URA portal here. Let me get it. You go ahead to log into the portal. This session is recorded, so you'll be able to run the recording when your client needs the service. And maybe I've forgotten the steps, you just run the video. So here we are. You don't need to. Why? Because if you log in for the small taxpayers, so you're going to do this one without logging in. I hope the screen has come now. To close some of these things I had opened so that faster. Okay. So it looks like the screen has presentation slides. These ones I'm going to share with you after the training. The slides are yours. The slides will, and then, slides are no longer there. But the ones on the link, they are always there. They are on your account. So we are going to register a payment. We are now on the URA portal. We are going to register a payment. So you come to domestic taxes. Presumptive tax is income tax and managed under domestic taxes department. So we go to, don't go to file a return. No, go to make a payment. Okay. You're making a payment, but you're filing the return. So you click, depending on the speed of the internet and all that, it will take time to process. Then it will take you to another page. This one here. Confirm you're seeing it from your end. Me, I'm already seeing it here. This page has generate a payment slip. This page has generate a payment slip. So on this page, generate a payment slip, go ahead to click on register payment. You click where my cursor is right here. Click on that. It's going to take you to another page, which will require you to input details of your business. So my page is loading. My page is loading here. Hope it won't take forever. Let me just close this. So I have my page ready. As you can see, there are different sections on this page. There is payment type, tax head, taxpayer details, period selection, basis of payment, payment details. This is a generic page for all the payments. Now, skip all these sections and go straight to payment details. You come to payment details, go to tax head here. Click on that. You're going to see a display of the different tax heads: gaming tax, goods cost tax, gross domestic payment, IT digital services tax, income tax advance tax for motor vehicles, income tax small. Aha. So you come to income tax small businesses. Click on that. So when you click on that, you're going to be taken to the declaration form. Okay, we are still under payment registration. For now, there are two sections showing. Section A, where you're going to input the taxpayer details, the other details that I talked about. Then section B, the assessment period. So go ahead, input Miss Kweyu's TIN, that one there. input either the email address or the phone number of Miss Kweyu. So I'm using my own details here. So you input that. Go ahead to select the residential status of Miss Kweyu. Now, Miss Kweyu, we believe, Miss Kweyu is a Kenyan, but she has been in Uganda for more than a year. So she's now resident. That's also important. Because if it is non-resident, it will not accept. Let's do that. Let's try to change from resident to non-resident. Let's just do that. Let me click here. You see, you cannot declare income tax small business return payment being a non-resident taxpayer. So you cannot do it if a non-resident. It's not available for you. And actually, I was wondering, why is URA, if you know people in URA, why is URA leaving this part here? Why don't they just, this is a wastage of, time. Just make it default, resident. Because non-residents, maybe later, anyway, later they might amend the act and, non-residents can also file presumptive. So if that is done, click on the side to ensure that all the details are displaying. Miss Kweyu is showing here and all that, the phone number, whatever, the residential status. Now move to section B, the assessment period. Now we are doing first of, there's a calendar here. Just click on the calendar. Look for 1st of July. Miss Kweyu is running financial year, the normal year. 1st of July 2023, it will automatically give the assessment date 2, which is 30th of June 2024. That one will automatically show. Now, when that is done, more fields are going to pop up. Okay? Section C will pop up where you're going to input the business assessment details. Section D will also pop up where you're going to put the business location and other details. So you're going to fill those fields to furnish that information. Now, it is going to be upon the person filing or upon you, the tax agent, whether you start with a restaurant or general merchandise. Okay? You cannot put, you remember I told you, you have to do the assessment separately. For all them. If there are 10 businesses, you have to do it 10 times. If there are 20 businesses, 20 times. For our case, there are 2 businesses. So let's begin with the general merchandise. What do we need? One, we need to show that Miss Kweyu has records. Now, this one you have to be sure that the sales day book is there. Remember the records I've talked about? The sales day book must be there. Purchases day book must be there. Cash book must be there. Those records must be there. So if the records are available and you've inspected the records as a tax agent or consultant, and you're sure your client has the records, change from no to yes. Change this from no to yes. When you do that, you'll be required to now input the business registration number. I don't know. I think I maybe just get a number there. Trading license number, business name, Kweyu and Sons, maybe. Business activity. Now, here you're going to select carpentry, clinic, drug shops, garages, general trade. Now, this is the general trade. Select that. Area of operation, Kampala. Basis of assessment, gross turnover. Now, I input the estimated gross turnover for the general merchandise shop, which is 54, 120,000. I click on the side. The system will do its magic, do the computation, and as you can see, our 204 as calculated has popped up here, has auto-populated. So it means that we are correct with our 204, 720. The tax rate is 0.6%. Okay, we are done with section C. Now we go to section D to input the district. Of course, you have all these details. the county, sub-county. I'm just selecting, the street, you put the floor, you put the monthly rent, if you don't put the monthly rent, this return is going to be, uh, is going to be rejected. Okay. They need details of the landlord. They're interested. So, trading center, Balikudembe market, maybe. So if you're done with inputting the general merchandise, come to this button which has add, so that now you add the restaurant. So I'm going to click on add. It will display here the details of the general merchandise. It will display the details of the general merchandise. Kweyu Sans. So these are the details. Now, I'll be showing you the working papers, because remember, on top of just having the sales day book, you also need to do the workings. I'll be sharing with you the working papers that we use on small taxpayers. So we are done adding the general merchandise. Now we are adding the restaurant. It is still the same as Kweyu and Sons. Okay, let me just put any number here. Yes, records. Yes, we have records for the restaurant, Kweyu and Sons. Yes, business activity. It's a restaurant. I select that. Trading license number, maybe that is the one. Area of operation, Kampala. Basis is that. Now I input the turnover from the restaurant, which is 22,340. Now you can see the tax payable has auto calculated and auto populated right here. 49,360. Tax rate is 0.4%. So we are correct. Now, meanwhile, the total tax payable has started accumulating right here. This 204 is for the general merchandise. Now it will also add the 49. And then we shall get the total. Next, the district, Kampala. Here, of course, I believe you have the information. You put the right information. Don't behave like me here. I'm just putting because I don't have anyway. It's for training purposes. Again, I input the monthly rent, name of the landlord, and the team, shop number, and all that. Then I click on add. Now, when you click on add, it's going to add another line on our, now this is our return, this one. This is our return now. Our return is being built. Meanwhile, the total tax payable has now gone up to 254,080. So this is how much Ms. Kweyu is supposed to pay from the two businesses. 254,080 shillings. 254,080 shillings. So Ms. Kweyu must be having this money right now as we are filing, because the next step is to make the payment. So since we are done inputting the business details, we go ahead to click our next button. This button here, next. Click on next. So when you click on next, you're going to be taken to page 2. You can always go back to page number 1. You can always go back to page number 1. But now we are on page number 2. Now what are we required to do under page number 2? We are required to register a payment. Payment details. How do you want to make the payment? Do you want to use Visa card, MasterCard, American Express? But URL is funny. American Express, Union Pay, mobile money, EFT, Swift. Do you want to pay cash? Do you want to use a check? Do you want to use... So all the payment modes of payment are here. Select the one that best suits how you do the payment for taxes. Go ahead, input this, input this, and then you submit. Now, I'm not going to submit because this is a live environment, but I have a video for you where I have submitted. Now, when you submit, you're going to get the PRN, the payment slip, and your return. Okay? So you're going to get two documents, and those documents are going to pop up here. Remember, we are not working in the, in the team, in the account. So they're going to pop up here. You'll be able to download them, go to the bank, or use your phone, pay using, this is very small money. 254, you can use mobile money. Okay? You can use mobile money, and then you make the payment. Now, after making the payment, what happens? After making the payment, what happens? You will have to come back here or to go to your account. Okay? Since you have input your TIN, you're going to get information on your account with the certificate. Okay? Hey, at least in that video, I'm showing you everything. You'll be seeing the certificate, how it looks like. You get that tax certificate, which looks like any other certificate from URA, and then print it out. You can maybe get a frame it, because you're going to use it for the entire year as URA is making its inspections. When they come to Miss Kweyu's restaurant, it should be hanging somewhere in the restaurant. You know, where you put those pictures for the president, for the kabaka, for the king. That's where you also put the URA tax certificate. You hang it there. So when URA comes and visits your, and these Indians, for them, they are very smart. They actually put it on the door. They don't want you to waste their time. As you're entering the business premises, their general merchandise shop, the certificate is there on the door. It's right there, pinned there. So you can say, okay, these guys are tax compliant. They move to the next shop. So basically, that is the return submission procedure. How much do we charge clients? Is there any tax planning on small taxpayers? The answer is yes.